Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. Uh, Coming to you with another video. I'd like to give first and foremost all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, the water, Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah for this truth, and that the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are from the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And this video I'm getting into is about these ICE raids. These ICE raids that happened last week, that's still going on now. You know, that they're not bringing out. But, you know, this is the Lord's judgment that's coming down on the Northern Kingdom. You so-called Mexicans, which are known of the nation of Israel as Issacharites, which a lot of you don't believe, which, you know, you have Issacharites in the truth, and them brothers, they believe. But then you have, you know, Issacharites who don't believe in that. They just believe that they're Mexicans, you know. As the Most High said, I'm gonna get this scripture first and foremost, because our people are destroyed. And what are they destroyed from? A lack of knowledge. You know, that's a classic right there, and I'm gonna get it. This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. This is the Most High talking to his people, the nation of Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. He said that his people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. With the tribe of Issachar is destroyed for a lack of knowledge because they don't believe they're Issacharites. They believe that they're Mexicans. You know? But when you look in the Bible, a lot of them, they Jesus Christos is Blanco, and they have that zeal for the Most High, but now they're calling the knowledge. You know? And a lot of Northern Kingdom, they have a problem with the Southern Kingdom. You know? They hate their brother and they love their oppressor. They don't think that the same person that's oppressing the blacks, the so-called blacks in this country, are oppressing them too. You know? They need to come out of that. Because the same hell the Negro is catching in America, you know, is the same hell that the Hispanic and natives are catching in America and all over the world. Everywhere you go, it's the same conditions for the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, all throughout the world. You know? And they don't ask themselves that. You know, like in Mexico, they catch hell. There's a lot of poverty in Mexico. But them same, you know, so-called Mexicans that come to America, get a job, you know, they'll open them up a store. Now, don't get me wrong, the so-called Mexicans, they are the hardest working people on this planet, man. You know? But they come over here and they get a little job, they get a little business, they get a little store, they get a house, they get a car, they get proud. You know, they get very proud. You know, and that's the worst thing you can do, is to get proud. Because how can you be proud and your people are back home struggling? Your people are back home, you know, living in the poorest conditions, but yet, just because you got a little something, you get proud. And you look down on your brothers. You can't do that. You know, so this is one of the reasons why the Most High is bringing judgment on you so-called Mexicans right now. You know? So it says, I'm going to start from the top. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge. What's the knowledge they rejected? The Bible. You know? Because regardless of what anybody want to think, the Bible is the truth. The Bible is the truth and the only truth. And they reject it. Because we'll be at camp and brothers will be teaching, and you have so-called Mexicans pass and they scoff and they'll say no, that's not true, and they if their oppressor can't be joined with them, then they don't want that. How can you love a man who oppresses you and kills you daily? You know, that's insane. You know, and it says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. You know, so the Most High is going to reject you, you know, in days like this. He going to reject you. That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. So the Lord is going to forget you and your children, man. Your generations on down. He going to forget y'all because you did not hearken to the voice of the Lord. And you didn't want that knowledge. So I'm going to let some of this play. I'm going to come, you know, back and forth. It's a short video, so I'm going to let some of it play, and I'm going to bring scriptures out as we go along.
Toward illegal immigrants across the country is still in effect unless Democrats work to change U.S. asylum laws. The acting director of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Ken Cuccinelli, appeared on Face the Nation Sunday. He said ICE is preparing to send about 1 million undocumented immigrants back to their home countries.
1 million immigrants. Really? These damn so-called white man, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of, got some damn nerve calling the so-called Mexicans immigrants. Because the natives, the so-called Mexicans, this was their land. You know, and this devil, this is one of the biggest devils, one of them, you know, who come over here talking that, saying they're undocumented. You undocumented. Where's your papers? You have no home. The Most High Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah gave you South Georgia, Russia, in the caves, man. The Caucasus Mountains.
The president promised ICE raids last month, but delayed the operation a few days later. But Mr. Trump said that the deportations will start fairly soon. He said that just this past Friday, and the pending raids are causing panic for some living in the U.S. without legal status. CBSNews.com politics reporter Camilo Montoya.
And this comes from Camilo Montoya Galvez. See, we are all scared. Trump's threats of ICE raids keep immigrants on edge. See, this is judgment because, like I said earlier, our people don't want to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. They don't want to do what the Most High told them to do. So, all of this is justified. The Most High told you who this man was. The Most High told you what you have to do first and foremost, and you don't want to listen. So this is what you're gonna be, scared. You know.
Galvez spoke with several concerned undocumented immigrants in Maryland. And Camilla joins me now from Washington. So Camilla, tell me a little bit more. What did these undocumented immigrants tell you about how the president's threats really affect their daily lives?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Rena, ever since the president vowed to order ICE to carry out these mass deportations last month, many immigrants without legal status.
And a side note, man, a lot of these men, man, they be feminine, man. You know? A lot of our men, man, feminine as hell, man. This brother got no hair on his face. You know? He talk a little feminine. I don't know, man. He got that Esau spirit in him. A lot of you so-called Mexicans, you want to be Esau, man. You want to be the so-called white man.
Here in the U.S. have been living under this constant state of trepidation. Some even fear a trip to the local convenience store in Langley Park, Maryland, a Washington suburb home to many newcomers from Central America and the Caribbean. Many residents told me that they're well aware of the repercussions of living in the U.S. without legal status, but that these threats by the presidents of mass raids, especially targeting families, have instilled in them a palpable fear that is preventing them from carrying out some of the day-to-day routines that they have.
And they're gonna live in fear, you know, because first and foremost, this devil, the so-called white man, knows his kingdom is fallen. You know, he knows what's coming to him. He knows who he is. He knows who we are, and he knows this kingdom is done. He knows this kingdom is fallen. So what is he going to do? This is Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. So who's this devil? The so-called white man. He's coming down on you, having great wrath. Why? Because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So this devil knows that he has a short time. He know his time is up. So he gonna go out with a bang. He said to himself, you know, well, I know I'm going out, so I'm not gonna go out without a fight. So I'm just gonna take as many people as I could take with me. You know? And who are you gonna take with you? The ones that don't want to listen, the ones that don't want to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. 2/3 of our people. You know? Those that want to love him, they want to count him in. They want to say, oh, he can be saved. This damn devil know he can't be saved. He know he's not going to be saved. And if he is going to be saved, he's going to be saved for slavery. Thus saith the Lord.
You know, you spoke with one young mother who crossed the border when she was pregnant, and her just weeks-old baby was actually born in the U.S., is a U.S. citizen. How might separating an undocumented mom from her actually legally born child complicate matters for ISIS?
Right, so that's one of the worries that many advocates have denounced, right? That these operations, because some of them target undocumented people who happen to be members of what is called a mixed status family. So some members of those families are U.S. citizens, some are green card holders. So these operations will inherently lead to family separations in some cases, like if it were to happen to Jennifer, who spoke to me on the condition that we do not disclose her last name.
See, a lot of them, they come over here, they have their papers, which that's off because they own this land. This land was given to them, so they don't need no damn papers. But the so-called white man, like I said, is gonna break up families. How can a father, so-called undocumented, and a mother and his kids be documented, but then you take the father because he's undocumented, but leave the mother and the kids, you know, without him, and he was their support financially or whatever. But you break that up because that's what you want to do in the first place, you know. And Esau loves doing this, man. He gets a kick out of this, you know. But a lot of the Northern Kingdom, especially these so-called Mexicans and these Simeonites, so-called Dominicans, and Ephraimites, so-called Puerto Ricans, they trust in this man. They trust this man. They love this man. But what did the Most High say about this man? And you know, they don't believe the Northern Kingdom, they believe that their enemies are the ones that look like them. They don't think they have no other enemies. Some of them would be ignorant enough to say they have no enemies, period. They love everybody. You know, but what did the Most High say? He said, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So just like iron is sure to rust, his wickedness gonna come out. And who is it talking about? The so-called white man. Because they'll come to the door and show all their papers, and they'll still deport them, man. They'll still deport them. That's just like I seen a video with Jake. The cops stopped him. You know, they checked in his car. The brother gave them consent to check in his car. They checking in his car, you know, and the brother like, what did I do? What do I got? I don't have anything. Why you stop me? He was like, no, we just checking you out, man. We just checking you out. So Esau telling them that, and he like, and then the Jake like, oh, so did you find anything? He's like, no, we didn't find nothing. We ain't find nothing. He's like, so when can I go? So Esau told him he can go whenever he felt like it. He can leave, right? So Jake took one step, and Esau said, put your hands behind your back. Jake like, what did I do? And Esau like, put your hands behind your back. He cuffed the brother. The brother's just asking, what did he do? And they tased the brother. You know, you putting trust in this man. You know, you thinking that everything is good. This man is out to get you. This man hates your guts. So the same way Jake is being oppressed in this land, it's the same way the same way the Southern Kingdom is being oppressed is the same way the Northern Kingdom is being oppressed. You know, it's no difference. They don't look at you no different. I'm gonna get that to show that, you know, this is Isaiah 50 and this is Isaiah chapter Salakia, Israel, Salakia. This is Salakia. I'm in the book of Isaiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 33, and it reads, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel, which is the northern kingdom, Ephraim, Manasseh, Naphtali, Simeon, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, you know, and the children of Judah. Judah is representing Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the Southern Kingdom, the so-called American blacks, Haitians, and West Indians were oppressed together. So we're being oppressed together, especially in these last days. The Most High is showing that we the same people because we getting oppressed together. You know what I'm saying? And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So, you know, all this deportation and all that, they're not gonna let Issachar go out of America. Issachar in Israel, period, is building up this land. Israel is keeping this land going. Israel keeps America going. Without Israel, America is nothing. I ain't talking about Israel, that land over there that's filled with damn faggots and lesbians them fake Jews over there. I'm talking about Israel, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. We keep this place going. We the biggest consumers. We build up these buildings. You know, we work in all these businesses. You know, we keep this place flowing, man. So, and no, they're not gonna let us go. You know. So, yeah, like we gotta come back, cause it's only gonna get worse.
Name. She's a 22-year-old mother from Guatemala. 7 months ago, she crossed into the U.S. from Mexico illegally while pregnant to reunite with her husband who had crossed the border a month earlier with their 5-year-old son. Now, the family is seeking asylum, but Jennifer said the prospect of being deported, like you mentioned, especially if they're denied asylum, it's terrifying for her. She fears, like you mentioned, that she might be separated from her baby girl who was just born 22 days ago.
Yeah, I can't believe it. 22 days ago. You know, ICE officials have signaled the raids would target what they call a limited group. What do we know about the pending operation, and what do we know about the group they're trying to target?
Right, so as we know, the president first vowed to deport millions last month, something logistically and politically untenable, really, to accomplish during his term. He later said that he was delaying the raids, but pledged to deport them unless Congress overhauled the nation's asylum system, which, as expected, did not happen by his deadline, which was Saturday. But he, along with his top official at USCIS, have signaled that these specific operations will still move forward. ICE just doesn't provide any time frame or other operational information due to safety concerns for their officers and to ensure that they apprehend the people they are targeting. So it's really a waiting game for many of these immigrants.
You know, when you talk.
So they don't know. They don't know if these ICE agents gonna break in their houses in the middle of the night. And I'm pretty sure they've done it already. They just not gonna. They're not gonna show you what these ICE agents are really doing, because they never tell you the whole story in mainstream media. They make it seem like they're so nice, they're helping America, they're anybody that's not documented. You know, they're getting them out because they're terrorists. Which I've never seen a so-called Mexican do any terrorism in my life. You know, I've never seen that. You know, so this man is a liar, man. He's gonna pay for it. He's gonna pay for it. So-called white man got a lot to pay for, man.
Talk about the numbers. We know Ken Cuccinelli had said he was talking about 1 million immigrants is the number that they're looking to potentially.
So if it's 1 million, if they putting out 1 million, more than likely it's probably like 1.5 or 2 million.
Deport. I believe we have a graphic looking at all the breakdown of the number of deportations over the past few years. And we look back, I think it was 2012 was the highest number of deportations under the Obama administration. It was something more than.
And Israel is so smart. They claim they're building this wall. But I was looking at a video and Issachar was jumping up, it was climbing over that wall. You're not going to keep Israel out. However whatever you think you can do to keep Israel out, you sadly mistaken, Esau. This world was made for our sake. You know? You cannot keep us confined in a confined space. Like you have a lot of them in these internment camps, you know, FEMA camps, whatever you want to call them. Everything you think you're gonna do is gonna fall back on you, man. Everything.
400,000 people. 400,000 people had been deported. That's the highest number. So where are they getting 1 million from? Is that just a round, scary, spooky number? Do we know how they got that 1 million number from?
Right, so this is why I said that the operation of the president touted, you know, millions, like you said, is untenable and likely impossible during his term. Last year, ICE removed more than 250,000 people, and many of them were migrants who were recently apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border, not in the interior like the president is vowing to do. And the highest yearly number of deportations came under the Obama administration in 2012, as you mentioned, Rena, when the agency...
All of this that Esau is doing, man, he's going to pay for it. Let me get this real quick. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. You know? So a recompense is coming back to Esau Edom for all of this trouble he caused on the Israelites, man. And this man know it, man. He's trying to stop it. He figured if he could take certain steps, that's gonna stop what's coming his way. There's no way on this earth you can stop what's coming to you, Esau. No way. You know? Let me get because it's only gonna get worse for Israel, but it's gonna be even worse for Esau Edom. So it said, this is Obadiah chapter 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So you're going to be cut off forever, Esau. You're going to be cut off forever, man.
He removed approximately 410,000 undocumented immigrants, and according to ICE, more than half of those had serious criminal convictions or had been convicted of a misdemeanor. So, you know, the millions number that the president is touting and his USCIS director, it's something that is very unlikely to happen. Just because of the manpower and resources that ICE has at its disposal, really.
Yeah. You know, what are immigration advocates doing to make sure that these immigrants' rights are protected?
Yeah, so I talked to a couple over the past few days, and they're kind of...
And then what they got, immigration, whatever she just named. Who runs that, man? Esau runs that too. So it's like Esau playing good cop, bad cop. You know what I'm saying? You had, I think it was probably a year or two, maybe 3 years ago, where this Issacharite brother was in America. He'd been in America for a while, for I think over 10 years, and they deported him. You know, this brother had his own business. You know, he was stable. I'm guessing he'd been over here all this time. He had his own business, so him and his family, you know, they was kind of, handling their business and stuff like that. But when our people get over here and we stay in America all of this time, we get comfortable, we get proud, we trust in the system, we trust in this man's system and his philosophies and all that, and he act like he's with you, he loves you, he acts like he gives you little gifts, and you know he gives you Cinco de Mayo, and he gives you West Indian Day Parade and Puerto Rican Day Parade and Labor Day and 4th of July, and you know he gives you all of these things, these gifts, which are wicked as hell, and you eat it up. You know, when he talks to you, he talks to you with, you know, he talks soft to you. He doesn't come out straight forth and say, you know, I hate you. Some do. I've seen videos with some of them saying that. But for the most part, he comes to you and he makes you feel like you're an American, you know? But what did the Most High say? This is Ecclesiasticus Sirach, chapter 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching. So if this devil come to you humble, talking to you, having a conversation with you, you know, you was watching a soccer game, he knows about soccer, he talks with you about soccer, he laughs with you, he you know, he has a couple of drinks with you. You might even invite him to your house. Something, he might invite you to his house, something like that. Yet take good heed and beware of him. Yet, that's what the Most High said. Yet, even if he humble himself, still watch this man. You know? Still watch him. And thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. So this man, though he go crouching and being humble, and y'all got some things in common with y'all conversation, take heed of this man, because this man is the devil, and his wickedness is going to come out. It's in him. It's going to happen. It's not. Listen, it's going to happen. It's in his spirit. He was born that way. The Most High made him that way. So he ain't got no choice but to be the way he is. So watch him. And our people, we don't watch. Our people, we don't pay attention. Our people just let our guard down with the oppressor, but with their brothers and with each other, our people always on point. I don't trust that nigga. I don't trust that bitch. You better watch her. You see how she looking at you? You see how she can go over there and she said this and then she come in your face and she's saying that. Yo, watch her. Watch her. That's how people are with each other. But Satan himself can come up humble, and you'll believe that man. You'll take his number. You'll be all, let's hang out. You'll go to a bar with him. You'll invite him to your house. That's just like Jake. It was an Edomite in the bar, and Jake came in with his wife, and I think his wife's friend or something. And the Edomite came over. He was having a conversation with him at the bar. They was watching the game. He kept buying the Jake drinks after drink after drink. They was having a conversation. Jake let his guard down. So Jake and them left. Esau